Zellers is back in Canada. Yes, you heard that right. The iconic Canadian retailer that so many of us grew up with. The place where families shop for everything from clothes to toys, home goods, and of course, those legendary hot chicken sandwiches, is making a comeback. But here's the twist: it's not quite the Zellers you remember. After years of being completely off the retail map, Zellers has quietly reopened inside Edmonton's Londonderry Mall. No big grand opening, no massive crowds lined up outside, just a soft launch. One floor of what used to be a Hudson's Bay store, transformed into the first of what could be many new Zellers locations across the country. For longtime shoppers, this is both exciting and a little strange. Think back for a second. Maybe you remember walking through those bright red doors with your parents, grabbing a cart, and heading down aisles filled with everything you needed under one roof. Zellers was a Canadian staple woven into the fabric of everyday life, affordable, reliable, and accessible. For many of us, it wasn't just about shopping, it was about the memories. Whether it was buying your first backpack for school, picking out Christmas gifts, or sitting down at the Zellers restaurant for comfort food after a long day, it felt like a piece of Canadian culture. That sense of nostalgia is fueling a lot of the excitement right now, but the reality is today's Zellers looks and feels very different. The new store doesn't aim to recreate the full department store model we all remember. Instead, it's streamlined, focusing on fashion for men, women, and children, as well as select home goods. Retail experts say this is no accident. They're aiming for higher margin categories, cutting out bulk groceries and electronics that were harder to compete on. The big question is whether that strategy will be enough to attract Canadians back into the store. Retail analyst Bruce Winder points out that it all comes down to value. If Zellers can hit the sweet spot between price and quality, it might just have a fighting chance. But competition has never been tougher. Walmart, Giant Tiger, Dollarama, and even Amazon dominate the value shopping space today, so Zellers has to stand out in a way that isn't just nostalgia. It has to prove it belongs in 2025. Canadians have seen this story before. Back in 2023, when Hudson's Bay still owned the brand, Zellers attempted a mini revival with pop-up shops inside Bay stores. For a while, people were excited. Social media was buzzing, and shoppers rushed in to see what Zellers looked like in the modern era. But just as quickly as it started, it fizzled out. This time, things feel different. The brand isn't just a section inside a bigger store. It's reclaiming its own space, taking over a former Hudson's Bay location that closed as the retail giant itself struggled to survive. In a way, it's almost symbolic. Zellers returning to fill the void left by Hudson's Bay, as if reclaiming lost ground. And here's the part so many Canadians are wondering about: the Zellers restaurant. Those hot chicken sandwiches, the burgers, the fries, they've become almost mythical at this point. Sadly, there's no restaurant in the new location, at least not yet. For now, the comeback is all about clothes and home products. But imagine if they brought the restaurant back too. That alone could turn nostalgia into real foot traffic. The story of Zellers' return is also about timing. The Canadian retail landscape has changed dramatically since the store first closed. Shoppers today are more tech-savvy, price-conscious, and selective than ever before. Online shopping has reshaped expectations, with Amazon and Walmart leading the charge in convenience and fast delivery. Yet, Zellers still has an opportunity to differentiate itself by blending nostalgia with value. The emotional connection that Canadians have to the brand is unique, something that digital-only retailers can't replicate. If Zellers can tap into that while offering products that are relevant today, it could carve out a new niche. It's also important to consider location strategy. Starting in Edmonton, Zellers is testing the waters in a market that still values in-person shopping experiences. The Londonderry Mall store occupies one floor of a former Bay location, and it's the first time a revived Zellers has taken over a standalone footprint rather than a pop-up inside another store. This move suggests that the company is serious about evaluating the potential for expansion. Retail experts say that a slow, measured approach could be the key to sustainable growth, allowing Zellers to understand customer behavior, test pricing, and refine its product mix before committing to larger rollouts. Retail analyst Bruce Winder emphasizes that success will hinge on clearly defining Zellers' target market. Is the brand aiming for the traditional value shopper who wants affordable but reliable products? Or is it trying to attract younger Canadians looking for trendy fashion at reasonable prices? Whatever the strategy, clarity will be essential. The new store offers a curated selection of clothing and home goods, focusing on categories with higher profit margins. By doing this, Zellers can maintain a competitive edge while managing overhead costs in a retail environment where margins are increasingly tight. The challenge, of course, is balancing nostalgia with modern expectations. Many Canadians remember Zellers fondly for its wide selection, affordable pricing, and iconic in-store experiences. The absence of the Zellers restaurant, for example, may disappoint older shoppers who associate the brand with its food offerings as much as its retail products. Yet, the streamlined approach may appeal to a new generation that prioritizes style, quality, and convenience. Only time will tell whether this balance will resonate across different age groups and demographics. There's also an interesting historical twist to consider. When Hudson's Bay sold its name and trademarks to Canadian Tire, the Zellers brand was not part of that deal. This means that Zellers' revival is independent of Bay or Canadian Tire, signaling a fresh start rather than a continuation of the past. By occupying a former Bay store, Zellers is filling a gap left by the decline of traditional department stores, a space that has been empty in many Canadian malls. This move could be symbolic of a larger shift in retail, where legacy brands reinvent themselves to survive in a rapidly evolving market. Ultimately, Zellers' comeback is more than just a business story. It's a cultural one. It speaks to Canadians' attachment to shared experiences, to familiar brands that evoke childhood memories and family traditions. Its return sparks questions about whether nostalgia can be transformed into a viable business model in the modern era. Can Zellers not only survive but thrive against online giants and discount retailers? Will it manage to attract both loyal fans and new shoppers? And perhaps the most tantalizing question of all, will the beloved Zellers restaurant ever make a return, completing the full circle of nostalgia? For now, shoppers in Edmonton have a chance to experience the first taste of this revival, while the rest of Canada watches closely. The quiet, soft launch may not make headlines yet, but it has sparked conversations, curiosity, and a lot of speculation about what comes next. Every Canadian has a Zellers story, and the brand's ability to tap into those personal connections could make all the difference. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Zellers' comeback? And would you visit the store if it opened near you?